My name is Amy.
And I'm E-House.
And welcome to another episode of SpeedSim. Today we have a kind of a fun video for you, all about sponsorships.
Yes.
And how badly you guys really want them, and pretty much everybody in the airsoft industry.
Yeah, well, okay, so I want to start off with a little bit of a disclaimer. So this video is not really a dig at anyone in the industry who is a sponsored player or a company that does sponsorships. This video is, I mean, obviously we're friendly with a lot of those people.
Oh, yeah.
And this video is more aimed at you guys who might be starting your own channel or maybe doing your own videos for a while and kind of talking about some of the pros and cons of sponsorship and whether or not it's really as awesome as everyone seems to think.
I mean, it is.
It can be.
To a degree.
It can be.
It's also a grind. You also have to really work at it. You have to, keep in contact with your sponsor. You have to, continuously do stuff that they need, because realistically what they're looking for is for you to make make your sponsorship worthwhile to them. They're not here to give you free stuff.
No.
They want, to push their products out.
Exactly. Sponsorship is an advertising deal.
Yes.
Let's define our terms. What is sponsorship? Sponsorship is when a player, a team, a content creator, a YouTube channel, whatever,
Same difference.
Is sponsored by some kind of company or entity that then will use that sponsorship brand deal, and maybe they'll provide product, maybe they'll provide review samples, maybe they'll provide access to their field, kind of like the River City Airsoft sponsorship that you guys blessed me with a little while ago. But it could be any number of things, and in return for that, they will want something. That's what the deal with sponsorship is. It is an advertising deal. Sometimes it can even involve like payment, like monetary payment. We'll have to renegotiate to see if we can work that in for next year, but
We'll think about it.
Yeah, no, just kidding. But that's what sponsorship is. It's people who get something from a company in return for providing some kind of advertising for that company.
Right. Sponsorships go one of two ways. Now, not all sponsorships are free. Sometimes you have to either pay for the product or you have to give it back in some cases, because some of the things are kind of expensive for them to even make, and then just to give it to you for no apparent reason, just to make a quick video on it, is not really something they're interested in. So sometimes you do have to give and take a little bit with some of the products that you do receive or not receive, because it's probably really expensive.
Yeah, and that's also, that can go beyond like even a sponsorship. That can go into when you get an item for review.
Yep.
We've had some items sent to us for review. Our general rule, we warn everyone who sends us something to review, we warn them, we say, hey, we're going to be critical and we're going to be honest. You're not sponsoring this review, you're asking for our opinion.
Yeah, we use it too really heavily. Like we drop tests, we do a stress test on them, we use them in the field, so you're going to get a blunt and honest review. Yeah,
which is, I think, in my opinion, that's the way I like doing things, and that's what I like watching.
But again, some other content creators, they have to, pay bills, so, they have to say some things.
It just depends on what you're doing.
Yeah.
If you're doing a video where you're not getting money out of this and YouTube isn't a major source of income for you, you have that luxury. Yep. That's why we get to do what we get to do. And I've actually talked to some other content creators who rely more heavily on doing sponsored things, and some of them have expressed a little bit of envy that we get to do basically whatever we want.
With no consequences.
Yeah, we don't.
Whatsoever.
Pretty much. Praise shooting. We started a blow-up-doll cult. You think you could do that on a heavily sponsored channel?
Definitely not.
Amped Airsoft might be into it, but other than them...
Yeah, I think you pushed it a little bit.
Oh, man. But that is a downside of sponsorship, is to a certain extent, you are answering to somebody.
Yes.
So whether or not you're going to be able to do everything you want to do the way you want to do it, you are answering to the people who are paying you or providing you product or doing one of any number of things. Usually there is a contract that you sign for a sponsorship, and there are terms to that contract. So, of course, these terms could be anything as simple as, I mentioned before, the River City sponsorship of, we like what you do, and also you're our friend, so do what you do, and then just come to our field and do it. So,
pretty much.
Yeah, that's easy enough. But then there could also be things as complicated as you can't say this about this, or you can't express opinions relating to this. But it all depends on who's holding the paper at the end of the day.
Yeah. For example, I used to have a sponsorship with a certain company. I'm not going to name names. That wanted me to take Instagram pictures of one product every single day for 2 weeks or something like that. I can't quite remember what it was. That would have gotten pretty boring. I don't post that much on Instagram because I don't have that much stuff going on airsoft related. That would have been a lot, and just to see that one product over and over and over again would have been very boring, and I probably would have lost people. Not that I care, but it was just like something I was like, not really. That's not something that I'm into. So you gotta be, cautious of what you're gonna get yourself into, because you do have to, answer to somebody like Eric said. So that particular company, kind of dropped me because I wasn't able to do it. And again, I'm critical about the stuff as well, so I mean that's the natural forces here. That it just kind of fell on the wayside. I wasn't angry about it, they weren't angry, we left on good terms. It was just something that wasn't really into it. But you gotta be weary when you go into sponsorship or want them or seek them out, because you have to do things that you're probably not going to like.
And there's a lot of work that can be involved.
Oh, yes.
I remember when we went to the Buffalo Battleground 3-year anniversary, Valken, instead of sending reps from the company in order to work their booth because they were all busy, what they did was they sent their sponsored players. Now they probably paid for them to go. They probably paid their travel cost or covered a portion of it. But that is work, and that's time that these people are taking out of their lives and their days and their weeks to go and do this thing for this company that sponsors their team. So it's something that, to them it might have been worth it because they got to go and travel and play and do this.
They come from wherever all the way to New York. Nowhere.
So, so it was kind of one of those things where if that sounds fun to you, then you might be, then you might be super into that. I'm a busy guy. I can barely keep Gun Gamers afloat. If I had to keep Gun Gamers afloat and travel for sponsored events, there's no way I could do both of those, at least not with the output of content that we try to do, and then the channel would suffer, and at what point would the sponsorship no longer be worth it?
Another consideration, like Eric said, you do have to travel a lot. You might have to do this twice a week, sometimes, maybe more, and that's a lot of traveling. So if you don't have any spare time, either with school or you're going to college or you have work, that's going to be a tough feat to, put all that time and effort into traveling all over the place. And you might not get paid as much as you might think.
No.
So
there's no money in airsoft, let's face it.
Well, not only that, but the travel. I mean, you get travel expenses, and that's pretty much it. You don't get paid like a minimum wage or a salary or whatever.
No.
You get paid to go there, and that's it. You don't really get paid much.
And any other payment is probably whatever you're relying on from either your day job, which hopefully you're able to keep up with, or if you're trying to go full-time content creator, you got to find ways to monetize that. And let's get a reality check real quick. 99% of us are never going to be Jet the Desert Fox. We're never going to be Novrich.
Or Airsoftology.
Yeah, or Airsoftology. We're never going to be the guys where this is our job.
Nope.
Even guys who are big and successful still have day jobs.
Yeah.
So other content creators that you might love or that you might watch, they still have day jobs, and Airsoft is not their day job. So again, it's kind of going back to that video we made a while ago. Sponsorship is probably not going to carry you into making Airsoft your job.
No.
Most people who are sponsored get very little, honestly.
Most of the time, it's just wholesale costs. I mean, you get products and you only pay what they're willing to let you willing to buy, like wholesale. So let's say a product is retail for $200, you buy it for $100. That's pretty much what sponsorship is. Some sponsorships, that's what you get is only wholesale dealers, or maybe a little bit more, depending on what the contract says. You don't get free stuff all the time.
No.
And some of your favorite YouTubers have to pay for their products. So just keep in mind.
I mean, we have to pay for pretty much everything we review. If we don't, we say it right up front and say, this was sent to us by X, Y, or Z.
Exactly.
But we just spent a lot of time talking about some of the limitations, but sponsorship does open a lot of doors.
It does.
If you are trying to make YouTube regularly, and if you are trying to continually have new stuff to talk about, you can get a lot of product through sponsored reviews through certain sponsors, because a lot of these companies are constantly coming out with new stuff. Like if you were to score an Elite Force sponsorship that's big enough that they would send you like some of their biggest items to review on your channel, you could absolutely have something new to talk about for a review like every month practically.
I mean, Elite Force is pretty big on their own, and they always have new stuff coming out, like the Smoke Wagon, or now the CO2 USP that they have coming out.
Yeah, so, which I bought the Smoke Wagon and am buying the CO2 USP.
That's why I brought it up, because I know you're buying them.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Like,
so you'll have reviews of those, just I paid for them.
But I'm saying, like, those, just Elite Force on their own have enough products to sustain you for a good while if you only make content, once a week or twice a week.
Yeah, and so there are some doors that sponsorship opens, so there are good things about it. And there are some players who, this is their job. Again, you got Jet, Leah, Airsoftology. And for them, that's how they pay the bills. That's their job. And I don't begrudge them that at all, because
they're hella nice.
Yeah, I think they're nice people, and I like playing and hanging out with them. So, can't wait for Caspian, Leah. It's going to be hilarious. Praise Judy. So
I'm saying Shot Show.
Also Shot Show. Oh, man.
But like Eric said, it opens up a lot of great doors. You go to a lot of these events, whether it be most of MilSim, but some of the SpeedSoft side too. Like if you go to SpeedQB, a lot of that stuff is sponsored too. Again, Die, and you have the SpeedQB guys themselves that like do a lot of fun stuff over there. So it does open a lot of doors, and if you can get your foot in there, you can have a pretty fun time doing it.
Exactly, and it can make it where you start paying less money to have more fun, which is ultimately kind of the situation I find myself in. I'm kind of in that weird mode where I'm like, my reviews are unsponsored, but people who like what I do just help me keep doing it. So that's the mode you want to be in, if you can get in there. I don't know, I guess the point of this at the end of the day is, do what you have fun with.
Yeah.
Do what is going to make you keep doing it. And if people want to sponsor that, great.
Yep.
But ultimately, when you seek out sponsorship, to a certain extent, a company is doing you a favor if you ask for something.
Yeah.
And if you ask for something and they're doing you a favor, that's kind of a power dynamic. They kind of own you.
Yeah, they own your soul a little bit.
Yeah. If you can get it where they ask you for things, that's when you're winning.
Alright guys, thanks for watching. This was another episode of SpeedSim. Once again, my name was Amy.
And I'm E-House.
And we'll catch you in the next one.
Peace.
You get burned out though, so you gotta kind of play a little bit too.
Oh yeah, I mean, and that's another thing to mention is, if all you're trying to do is keep this up, you're gonna get burned out.
Yeah, it happens pretty quick. You might not know it until you get into that and you're like,
well, that's what happened to the All Things SpeedSoft channel.
Yeah.
I mean, have we told that story on camera before?
I don't think we've ever told that story on camera. Mainly because it's something that I'm a little bit embarrassed about. But it's one of those things, it's like, it's a lot of work by yourself. A lot of the let's start. A lot of the editing I did, and a lot of the camera work, and whatever you've seen not behind camera was all me. I didn't have anybody helping me. I had bought a slider. I had bought all these electrical things to make the cool transitions going. This is all me. I did those all by myself. And at one point I just sat there and I was editing a video on my crappy laptop that couldn't keep up anymore, and my editing was taking literally 4 hours to do because it was so slow. I sat there for a minute and I was like, I can't keep doing this. This is impossible. So one day, Eric had showed up at the field. I'm like, this is going to be embarrassing, but I'm going to see. The worst he can say is no. I walked down and I'm like, Eric, I have a proposal for you. And I sat down next to him because he was pretty beat for the day because he was going pretty hard.
I always do.
And I sat down next to him. I'm like, Eric, I have a great idea. Since we pretty much do the same stuff on different channels, and we talk about pretty much the same stuff on different channels, why don't we just join forces and we call it SpeedSim? And he loved the idea.
Yep.
And this is how this became a thing.
Yep. And now we've been doing it for just over a year.
No regrets.
So, no regrets. No regrets. Great time. Just over a year and over 5,000 new subscribers later, I'd say it's been all right. I'd say it's gone okay.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
In the long run.
I don't know what the point of that story was.
I don't know. I just felt like telling it because it was a
funny story.
And
I'll put it at the end as the bonus.
Yeah. I like this. It was a fun episode.
Yep. It is recording.
Good lord.
Technology is fucking amazing.
It is.
Look at this. It's gonna be all over the internet in like 24 hours maybe when I finally get around to editing it.
24 hours.
Let's be real. I'm going home to have a fucking cigar and glass of whiskey tonight. I'm not fucking editing this tonight.
I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to think if I had more to say.
That's okay. Take your time.
I can cut all this out. I'm the magical man who can make this all disappear.
You're the little elf.
I'm the little elf on the computer, just cutting segments out and putting them back together where I want them. I can make you say anything I want. I could make you like come right out and say what PewDiePie said and get you in tons of trouble just by cutting syllables together. I could do that to you. Oh my god. Okay, wow, that just did not help my train of thought.
No, I bet it didn't.
No, shit. Oh,